It's the time of the year where you go to the testing center, and at the end of it, you either curl up in a ball and cry yourself to sleep, or you come out looking like a guy off of a metal album. And then after you've screamed for about 10 minutes, security comes up and asks you to stop. And they're followed by a guy from the honor code office that tells you to cut your hair. So we're all going home, and we're, people are asking us, okay, what do you, what's your major, and what are you doing? And this explains my Happy Feet nickname, where I like to fence, with swords, and I have a particular style where everything is on target, and so people like to stab down, so I do this. Okay, wrong audience. I don't know how they called me why they called me Happy Feet. I don't know. I don't hear from my feet that much. Anyway, so my relatives asked me, well, what are you going to do with your degree? Say, well, I hear that Peter Pan has an opening for one of the Lost Boys. And then they dashed my dreams by saying, well, you're a little old for that, aren't you? Well, yeah, being over 20, I might be a little old. But I've been looking into possible career paths to use my mechanical engineering degree in, and supervillainy is looking pretty promising. And they asked, well, why would you want to be something that loses at the very end? They say, well, you're winning for 95% of the time, otherwise you're not a supervillain. So that's like going through the entire school year, doing everything right, and then bombing the final. So in the end, it's like a B+ in life. Who doesn't want a B+? Especially when C's get degrees. So I did apply and was interviewed for an apprenticeship as a supervillain. And it's a pretty tough process. They vet you. They make sure that you meet the basic qualifications. Familiarity with weapons, both silly and practical. Enjoyment of causing chaos, and willing to work in hazardous conditions. So I said, well, I come to Rexburg for school. Slowing down isn't in my vocabulary, even when it's slick, especially not when it's slick. And, I love silly things and delaying classes by asking my teachers silly questions. So, excuse me, sometimes I space out. I'll get back to it. So they said, all right, you're looking pretty good. What are some of your ideas for destroying the world and reforming it without using lasers? And because everybody's cutting back, it's a rough economy. And I said, well, the first one is a little bit subtle, but it'll destroy the world as we know it and reform it into something the likes of which we have never seen before. Make a flow chart on how men can keep all women happy. We're still in R&D on that one. But so far, the big thing we figured is chocolate. Just give them chocolate. And so okay, chocolate, good. What if you find a woman that's allergic to chocolate? And he said, well, first off, I'll just assume that you're telling me the truth about somebody being allergic to chocolate. And so the question becomes, how much do you want to keep her around? Because if the answer is not really, then your solution is still chocolate. I said, okay, but it's really not kind of the widespread destruction and despair we want to create. I said, well, I got another one. We can develop a chemical compound, put it in jet fuel, and disperse it all over the world, and what it does is it turns all condiments into Miracle Whip. True story. So, thank you everybody. I hope you have a great Christmas. I know I won't. Why you wander off? Come on.
That was Isaiah. Give it up for Isaiah. Sometimes it's fun in life to leave people guessing. Justin.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Can you guess why?
Are you excited to listen to Beyonce's new CD?
Yeah. Maybe.
Are you excited to eat gummy bears or something?
I like gummy bears.
Are you excited to like drop gummy?
It's Christmas! Christmas is coming!
That's scary. I mean, I like Christmas too.
Santa Claus scares you?
No. I mean, I'm just kidding.
Alright, I guess I'll introduce our next comedian. His name is Beagley. So I always said if he ever invests in selling dogs, he can name it Beagley's Beagles. I think it'll work. Give it up for Matt Beagley!
How you guys doing? Woo! Yes, thank you, my wife. We got one support. So recently, I promised my friend that I'd get out running with him, start working out and bettering ourselves. But it seems like every time he calls me to go running with him, I'm like halfway through a beefy 5-layer burrito from Taco Bell. And I mean, it's really hard because literally in one hand I'm holding the reason I should be working out, but in the other hand it has nacho cheese and I really want to finish it. But I do try and get out running with him. But I don't know if you guys have ever went to the eye center track to run. It is a terrible place to go running because of all those windows on every wall, and it's have people sitting there watching and judging you. As if like getting out of your house wasn't embarrassing enough. But I mean, sure, that first lap that you're running, you look great. You're passing all the healthy guys, and it's like, why, yes, I do come here often. But by the third lap, you feel like someone being left behind in a zombie movie. You're like, wait, don't leave me behind. But the kicker is on around the fifth lap when you start being passed by the stroller moms. It's around there that I start wondering if working out is even worth it. I mean, by the end of it, I'm tired, I'm sweaty, my heart hurts. Exactly how I would have felt if I finished the burrito, so... So, it wasn't until I got married that I realized how many beauty supplies that women really use. Men, we only have, we've got like soap, shampoo, deodorant, maybe shaving cream if we got paid that week. But women, I mean, they've got body wash, lotion, perfume, makeup, something called toothpaste. What makes it really hard is when I have to use something of hers, like lotion. Like I use it maybe twice a year, so I'm not going to buy my own bottle. But it's hard when, I have to use hers. My hands end up smelling like a babbling brook in springtime. And the toughest part is when I'm sitting there in class and the guy next to me is like, are you wearing women's lotion? And I have to act tough, so I'm like, yeah, it's Moonlight Path. Of course, he's married too, so he's like, oh, I've got Dark Kiss on. I'm like, Dark Kiss is out? Oh, I gotta get my wife to buy a bottle. So I'm an engineering major as well, and I've been thinking about changing to pre-med just to lighten up my load a little bit. I mean, I'm not trying to say that engineers. I mean, people ask me, like, how do you have free time without your engineering classes? And I have to tell them the same thing. I'm like, I can't talk to you right now, I have homework. So I've taken the liberty recently of updating some song titles and some lyrics to make them more applicable to our generation, our society today, I guess. So we've got, hey you, get off of my cloud storage. Any way you want it, there's an app for it. We've got low cow bottom girls. Also from Queen, we have I Want to Ride My Segway. Don't you forget to friend me. God must have spent a little more bandwidth on you. 867, I forget the rest, but it's in my phone. I like big hard drives and I cannot lie. My laptop don't want none unless it's got gigs, son. And finally, it always feels like someone is watching me. Thanks to the NSA, I didn't have to change that one. Oh shit, I'm losing my place here. So how are you guys liking this weather? Yeah, okay, that's the response I expected. Last time people were loving it. I don't know what was wrong with them. But I mean, you walk outside and your nose hairs freeze, and then your eyes just start watering up. And that's tough for guys because you're wearing women's lotion and now you're crying. I have to find some way to retain some degree of manliness, so whenever anyone asks me why I'm crying, I just have to say, I'm just thinking about freedom. But it's rough walking around campus here, especially like hiking up to the rigs. I mean, when you get to, in the snow, it becomes like a hike up to Everest. Like, it's rough. And by the time I get to the Hinkley, I'm ready to start writing my last letter to my wife. I'm just gonna pull out some paper and I'm just like, my dearest Rachel. So I don't know why I think mountain climbers sound like Southern Civil War soldiers. That's how it sounds in my head, so that's gonna happen. My dearest Rachel, in my final hour, my thoughts turn to you. The summit may be within sight, but I fear I may not live to feel the triumph of the climb. Food is all but gone, and morale on camp is low. I hope that you shall love again, after an appropriate mourning period, like a year or so. However, when you talk about me to your new husband, refer to me as the better one. So that he knows his place. All my love, Sir Matthew Beasley. P.S. Remember to DVR How I Met Your Mother? If I do make it, I'm gonna want to watch that. It's the final season. But you know, in this weather, you want to take as many shortcuts as you can, but don't even think about cutting across the street because Rexburg PD apparently thinks that jaywalking is second only to murder. They're rough, and I just like to imagine the prison here. This conversation is going down. Like, oh, so what are you in for? Oh, possession. What about you? Jaywalking. Oh, I thought the guy who had the mattress tag on was tough. I know that Rexburg PD, they have nothing better to do with their time, and I read the Scroll. For those who don't know, the Scroll has a police report that shows the stressful lives of Rexburg PD. My favorite entry I've ever seen in there is just simply read, cat's head stuck in mayonnaise jar. I really wish that I had come up with that. And I don't know what I'd do if my cat's head got stuck in a mayonnaise jar. I mean, besides laugh. But I wouldn't call the cops. What are they gonna do? You ever see anything like this, Gus? Once, but it's a Miracle Whip jar. Real piece of work. Thanks, guys. You've been great.
Hey, Justin.
Hi.
Guess what I'm doing?
Dancing.
Yes. You know what our next comedian loves to do?
Tell jokes.
I guess. Ruler.
Yay! Oh, it's Allison's next. First entry ever.
Hey guys. Sorry if I get a little nervous. I'm an dancer, and so that means I can get on stage and dance shamelessly in tights. But if I get in front of a group of people talking, I get kind of nervous. So, bear with me here. This is actually kind of weird for me because I have a good friend who started comedy with me. His name is Joe, and this is his first semester that he's not here with me. And he's no longer with us. I like to think that he's in a better place. I know in my heart it's not true. He's down in Provo. There's that. He's basically dead to me now. But in his honor, I would like to start with his favorite joke. He would always walk up to me and he'd say, "Alex, you're bald." Thanks, Joe. It's not really my choice. The big guy kind of said, "It's on you, something." So I am how I am, right? But if I could grow hair, I don't know that I would, because it's almost become like an identity for me. Like people literally know me as the bald guy. It's weird. Like we walk around campus and be like, "Hey, I know you," and they'll like have conversations with me. I'm like, "I don't know who you are," but they know my life story. It's weird. And yeah, I think if I ever grew hair, I'd probably lose half my friends. Like as soon as they saw me, they'd be like, "Alex, I don't even know you anymore." That's okay. I'm okay with that. Anyways, I didn't come to talk about that. I came to talk about something a little bit serious, and that is cyberbullying. I know it sounds ridiculous. I don't think it's a real thing, but it happened to me. Okay, people who I thought were my friends just kept poking me and poking me. And I got a cheap turn, which is anyways, I don't understand people sometimes. They literally act differently, virtually not in reality. I feel like there should be like, after that. It could be, anyways. So, this is my gangster. Gangsterness coming out now because I made an awesome rhyme. No, so I don't understand people like that sometimes. I mean, like, in person, sometimes people tell me I'm intimidating, which I didn't get until I saw The Dark Knight Rises and I'm tall again. But virtually, when people are jabbing their stupid binary-coded fingers into my virtual ribs, it makes me cry. But in real life, when people do that, they need like fractions to tell how many fingers they have left, right? When people throw shit at me virtually, I just think they're a little crazy. When they do it in real life, I'm actually impressed. Not even mad. One thing I do like about Facebook, aside from the cyberbullying, is the like feature, because people can like your stuff, and it's like getting a million compliments, but you don't have to respond to them at all, right? Like, you're like, cool. And that's all you have to think, cool, right? But there's some people that they will like something and comment on it, And then when you see them in real life, they tell you that they like it again, right? I'm like, ugh, I never know what to do. It's so awkward. Like, Alex, I really like that picture you posted, and I commented on, and I liked, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh. Okay. Have a sheet. Anyways, that's all I got tonight, guys. So thank you very much.
Our next comedian is really popular in France. His last name is Crepes. You've known him, you've seen him all night. I call him Giggles, Chuckles, Ray of Sunshine, Count Chocolate. Give it up for Justin!